Guys, yes, I am sitting in the floor today because we are going to talk about science, and you're going to need to get in the floor and do some experimenting today. So for your experiments, you're going to need either a toy car or some kind of a little ball. If it's in your hand would be good, not like a big basketball, something kind of little, just some kind of little ball and a toy car, or one or the other. You don't have to have both, just one or the other, something that will roll, a marble, something. Okay, and you're going to do some different experiments with this car or this ball and see what happens. So in the first experiment, you are just pushing and pulling things. Pretty easy. So the first experiment is going to ask you to push or pull this toy car or your ball, whichever one you have, and you're going to watch what happens. And I'm going to ask you to do tiny pushes and huge pushes. And when I say tiny push, I mean like just one finger pushing. So I'm going to kind of show you a tiny push. I'm going to move it down maybe where you can see on the floor. Yep, okay. Tiny push. Just a tiny push. But, let me move back. If I say a huge push, I want you to use both hands and I want you to push with your whole body, okay? So, tiny push, huge push, okay? That's the difference. So in the first experiment, you've got a tiny push and huge push, a little car, and then you have to go find either your bed or your couch, one or the other, your bed or your couch, and you're going to tiny push and huge push the bed or the couch. You can also pull, and when I say a tiny pull, that kind of means like you pinch it and you try to pull. A huge pull would be both hands grabbing it and you're pulling as hard as you can, okay? So you can tiny push and huge push, or tiny pull or huge pull your bed or your couch, and you're going to see what happens. And then you're going to have to go outside and find an adult's car, your mom's car, your grandma's car, your dad's car, I don't care, somebody's car or truck, doesn't matter. And you're going to do the same thing, tiny push or pull or a huge push or pull. And you're just going to write about what happens, okay? All right. So then your second experiment, you're still going to need this ball or this car, whichever one you went and found. And you're going to need a ramp. And if you happen to have like a piece of a racetrack at your house, this is great. But if you don't have a racetrack, it's okay. You can use, I've got a clipboard here that would make a great ramp, or like a big book would make a great ramp. A cookie sheet, one of those big cookie sheets would make a great ramp. I found this box lid. That would make a great ramp, because a ramp is just something that it's tilted, right? A ramp. And when you do the ramp experiment, you're going to do a very steep ramp and a not so steep ramp. And to make a steep ramp, I've got paper that I can stack up over here and make a really steep ramp. If you don't have paper at your house, I've got a bunch of paper. You could use books, anything you want to stack it up or prop it up and make a really steep ramp. So I want a pretty steep one, okay? I'm still stacking. All right, I've got a pretty good steep ramp here. And I'm going to tilt the camera so you can see. There's my ramp. You can use anything. I'll use the clipboard this time. See how that's nice and steep? That's fine. And then you're going to either roll the car or truck, car or ball down the ramp and see what happens. And then you need a ramp that's not so steep. So I'm going to get rid of some of these. I don't want it that steep. There we go. Don't worry, I'll clean all that up later. All right, so there's a ramp that's not so steep. You see how it's kind of straight, almost sort of flat. And you roll the little car or the ball down this ramp and see what happens, okay? All right, so that's your experiment today. Do those things, and then we'll talk about it on Friday and kind of see what happened when you do those things, okay? Bye, guys.